Right, so today we're finally installing a full set of coilovers onto the set of Ibiza because the ride height is so high. I really want to get them loads because it just looks so high at the moment. Honestly, it looks terrible. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We've got a full set of coilovers to go on, so let me show you what we're going to be installing. Right, so we have FK front coilovers and JOM rears. Now, I have completely stripped these down, cleaned them up, make sure there's no issues at all. And obviously resprayed the shock bodies because they're really in poor condition. So everything's good, everything's ready to go on, so let's get these installed. Now basically the plan is, we're going to start in the rear first because that's obviously the easiest. And the process for that is, there's obviously 2 bolts holds on the damper to the body at the top, and obviously there's one at the bottom, so that's quite easy enough. So obviously we'll jack up the car at the rear, support it with 2 axle stands, so then we can actually let the axle drop and obviously remove the springs and obviously install the new ones and obviously use the jack to raise the axle and obviously just put it back together again. But then, when we move to the front, things are going to be a little bit different because I've heard there's a certain technique to obviously removing the shocks. You have to obviously disconnect the drive shaft and the bottom ball joint, because if you don't do that, apparently, the CV joint can obviously kind of disconnect itself. So I'm going to do it the way that I've been told it's the best way to do it. No, it shouldn't be too hard, but like I said, I'll show you what I'm doing as I go along, so you know what you're doing if you're doing this yourself. So, let's crack on.
Oh, you tell me stories, you tuck me in, and the second you leave, I call you right back to check for my sis in my peace. Yeah, high school was hard, you fight with my mom, I'd fall asleep to the screaming, sound machine always speaking, left emotional scars. Now I'm 21, the soul of 50 years. And now that you are gone, I'm doing things that I shouldn't know from. I'm doing things that I shouldn't do. That's 21.
Right, I think before I install these new shocks, here's a comparison. Now, these bushes, little pins here, are absolutely shot. I don't know if you can see it very well, but when these are on the car, there's a lot of play in the bottom bush. These ones are obviously in better condition. Also, there's no pressure inside the shock at all. Obviously, when you push this down, like so, it just doesn't want to come up at all. So they're just fit for the bin. They're absolutely knackered. So let's get these ones on. Right, I'll come into the shed for a wee recap. Now, that is the rear done. Now, it is so much lower. I couldn't get over how much lower it actually was. It just goes to show how actually high riding these set Ibizas actually are. So, let's crack on with the front. Man, what a pig of a job. Honestly, I totally forgot like how much of a nightmare these kind of cars are to work on. But I mean, one side's pretty much done. All I'm doing is just obviously put the drive shaft nut back on, and then also we'll crack on the other side. I won't film it though because obviously you've already seen me do one side, so it's kind of pointless me showing the other side. Everything should be okay. So I'll crack on with the passenger side, and I'll be back with you when I'm done. Right guys, now as you can see, it's a new day. In the last clip you've probably seen it was getting dark, so I actually ended that video there, but obviously we're carrying it on as of now. Now, basically where we're at the moment is, I need to replace the truck rod ends, because you may have seen obviously in some of the previous clips in this video, one of them was completely perished, so as you all know, you always replace things in pairs. So that's what we're doing as well before we actually drop the car and obviously show you how low it is. But also, we have another problem. On closer inspection, it looks like the sway bar is coming into contact with the drive shaft, obviously because we need short and drop links. So make sure you get that yourself if you are installing coilovers on a say Ibiza or basically any other car yourself. Get short and drop links. So that being said, I'm going to crack on and try and replace these truck rod ends. Then we can actually drop the car and I'll kind of show you how low it looks and how good it looks. So let's crack on. Now it looks like we'll need two sway bar bushes as well because they're absolutely knackered, but you know, they're quite cheap and easy to replace, so that won't be a problem. Right, so I'm just in the process obviously in changing the truck rod ends. Now this one's off, this one's not too bad, but the other side is an absolute pig. Even though this one's okay, I'm just doing it in pairs because I don't do a half-arse job. So obviously here is the brand new one, so I'm going to obviously grease up here and put some copper grease on there, so obviously in the future if it needs replaced there won't be any problems. So I'll crack on with this and I'll back with the camera in a minute. Right, sorry, we're nearly finished, don't worry guys. I'm just putting on the last truck rod end and then we can actually get to putting the car on the ground and appreciate how good it looks. Now, you've got to see this right, because this side was a little bit more difficult than the passenger side. So I actually had to grind a slit into the truck rod end to basically release the tension from the threads so I could remove the truck rod end. And don't worry, there were no damaged threads on the actual tie rod itself. So don't worry, there'll be no issues there. I'll show you what I've done, and honestly it worked a treat, so here it is. Right, here is the old truck rod end, and as you can see it's absolutely knackered. This boot is all perished and split, and obviously that's where I made the slit, and obviously it worked a treat. As you can see, the threads are fine, there's no damage to them at all. The only problem is this nut here is seized, but like I said, off camera I'll try and obviously sort that. And obviously we have the new truck rod end here to go on. Then once that's on, we can get to putting the car on the ground and all that good stuff. And like I said, in a separate video, or you know, moving off camera, I'll get short and drop links for here because I had to remove the standard ones because obviously it was coming to contact with the drive shaft. So that being said, I'll crack on with this and I'll back the camera when it's lowered. Right, time to get it on the ground. Right, that is the coilover install done. Now, as you can see by the results, it looks really, really good. Like I said, if you're doing this yourself, then get short and drop links, because just so there's no issues with the sway bar. Now, we disclaimer, obviously the reason I can't drive the car is because it's not MOT'd. Now, I will be getting MOT'd at some point, so then it will be driven and we can see how it handles and all that good stuff. So, that wraps up today's video. If you did enjoy this video, then please give it a like, because obviously it helps out the algorithm of the YouTube and things like that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.